Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Jay the Great, and today we're going to be doing US Highway 158 today. Now, here's some fun facts about US 158 before we get started. Like US 17, US 158 is a major highway across the state of North Carolina. However, unlike US 17, US 158 is east-west. It's only in North Carolina, and I think it spends a little bit longer in North Carolina than 17 does. So, yeah, prepare for this one. I was gonna do both eastbound and westbound, but I, I'm just going to be doing eastbound. So, here we go. Here's the start of US 158 here in Knoxville, North Carolina, beating US 64 and US 601. Oh dear. It's gonna be a long time before I cover US 601. Here, very early into the video, we are on a crazy stretch of US 158 here in western North Carolina within the Piedmont region. Here in Bermuda Run, North Carolina, we're meeting State Highway 801 and I wonder if this was ever planned to become US 801, because if it connects to US 1, then it would make a good child route. But 801, 601, any of the one children, any of the other one children, like, I don't know if it would plan to become one, but they canceled it and just made it a state highway instead. Also, we get a mention of 2 Interstate 40, which I keep saying I'm going to do that route in full one day, and I will, so don't you worry. Here we are crossing the Yadkin River over from Bermuda Run to Clemens, North Carolina, and hey, we're on that first of many 4-lane configurations. Wow. Here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we actually meet Interstate 40. I say actually because when we were doing US 17, we kept getting 2 Interstate 40, but Interstate 40 ended before 17 met it. So, yeah, that's why the 40 junction wasn't shown in both 17 NC videos. So, yeah. Anyways, here's where we actually meet it, and we don't get any control cities. Okay, weird. Okay, here's our control city for Interstate 40 westbound, and it is Statesville. Okay, I get you have the Interstate 77 junction, but I'd rather see Charlotte or Asheville on here. Here we are beating North Carolina State Highway 67, and it just gets the Kentucky treatment of Silas Creek Parkway, which I don't know if I can agree with that. Here we are meeting US 421, and like US 17, we are concurrent with US 421. Here we are meeting US Highway 52, and it is side from Lexington and Mount Airy Airport. Okay, honestly, that should just be Withville for northbound. Lexington is correct for southbound. Mount Airy for northbound is not correct. That should honestly just be Withville. Here we are here we are splitting all from US 421, and it is signed for Walkertown and Reedsville. Okay, I think just Reedsville by itself would work because Walkertown is still within the Winston-Salem area. I know Reedsville kind of is too, but it's kind of big enough to be a city on its own. So, yeah. Anyways, let's just move on. Here in Walkertown, we meet North Carolina State Highway 74, aka future Interstate 74. Wait, what the? Oh my god. Well, there's nothing I can do, but come on, really? We already have US 74 in North Carolina. Why you need the interstate form in here too? That makes no sense. Here we are meeting North Carolina State Highway 65, and it gets to US 220 going east, while US 158 will be taking over the route for State Highway 165 here. Here we are meeting State Highway 68, and we're side for Reedsville while it's side for High Point, which is actually pretty good, being that it's a state highway. Here's a I don't even want to say it first this because this is like far past the beginning of US 158. And I haven't been able to find any mileage sign. So I'm not even gonna say first. I'm just gonna say here's a mileage sign. We get Reedsville 21 and Yanceyville 44. Now, I'm not gonna say anything about this. I'm actually going to let you watch Dervog's version of US 158, and he'll tell you all about Yanceyville. Here we are meeting US 220 and Interstate 73, and southbound is signed for Greensboro, and northbound is signed for Martinsville, which is what the heck? Like, bro, come on. Martinsville? Okay, one, that isn't even in North Carolina. That's in Virginia. Why are we signing a place that's small and not even in the state? If you want to sign something out of state, Roanoke. And again, US 158 goes to Roanoke Rapids. But still, Roanoke should be signed here. Roanoke. I'm telling you. Roanoke. I'm not trying to yell, but Ancina, I need you to get your act together. Now. That's all I'm gonna say to you. So, let us move on. Here is another beautiful part of US 158 in the state of North Carolina. And right there is our mileage sign. Reedsville 19 and Yanceyville 43. Again, I'm not gonna say anything about Yanceyville. Here we are meeting Business US 29 and North Carolina Highway 87, and we are concurrent with both. Here we're going past a pretty insane apartment complex. I'm showing you guys this because this is where my dad lives. He lives in one of these apartments here. And the complex is pretty cool. Like, it even has its own pool. So, it's been 2 years since I've been here. So, I wonder how much has changed in 2 years. I'll find out when I go back again. Here, US 29 business is splitting off, and it is time for nothing. Wow. Here we're meeting US 29 and inside south for Greensboro. Ignore that blur in the corner. And here we are concurrent with northbound US 29, and we are co-signing Danville. And no, not that famous Danville. Danville, Virginia. Honestly, I've never actually been to Danville, Virginia, but I don't know. I mean, you have the US 58 junction, so I guess it's fine. Here we are splitting off from US 29, and we're co-signing 2 NC-14 for Eden, not Eden 10, just Eden and Yanceyville. NC, why do you love Yanceyville so much? What is so important that you gotta sign Yanceyville? Just, bruh, come on. Here's Yanceyville. Yeah, I know. It's one of the towns. Anyways, now US 158 is signed Riceboro. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I gotta stop thinking racist, because that's not what they're implying here. But anyways, we got other places we can be signing to now. But here is where Anderson would work, because that's where you meet Interstate 85 and US 401. So yeah, put that on here. Here's our next mileage sign. Roxborough 21, Hillsborough 29. Again, this should be Henderson. Here we're reading State Highway 49, and it is signed for Oxford and Haw River. Okay, I think Oxford is actually for US 158. Also, I didn't know North Carolina was British here, because if I recall, Oxford is, I believe, a city in the United Kingdom, in Wales. I think that's where it's actually located, but I know it's in England. So, yeah. Don't know why, so don't ask. Here's our next mileage sign. Bergelana 18, Oxford 28, Bergelanesburg 49, Oxford for 158. Here we get a mention of US 501 here. Wow, I have not seen this highway ever since doing 17 in South Carolina. Here we are meeting US 501, and it is signed for South Boston and Durham. I agree with Durham, but I don't know about South Boston. Well, I mean, it ain't lying. It is actually south of Boston. The real Boston in Massachusetts. However, it is far south of that Boston. And, yeah. Honestly, I think you can sign Lynchburg here, but because South Boston is only there because of the 58 junction. Hey man, what? We're concurrent with US 501? Huh. I guess I will be doing US 501 today. However, just a small piece of it, not the whole thing. Here, US 158 is about to split off from US 501. US 501 is signed for Durham, while US 158 is signed for Oxford. I get the 15 junction, but again, Anderson, because Oxford ain't even that big. Here in Oxford, we're beating the other half of that long concurrency, US 15. However, we're not concurrent with US 15. And I say the other half of that concurrency because of the 15501, which I will actually do that full concurrency in the 501 video, not the 15 video. Here we're meeting Interstate 85, and it is signed for Henderson and Durham. Okay, I say Henderson for US 158, not Interstate 85. On the Interstate 85 concurrency, we should be signing either Petersburg or Richmond. I would probably say Petersburg just to differentiate it from I-95, but still. Please, North Carolina, take Anderson off that sign. Here we are meeting Business 158 in Henderson, North Carolina, and for each bound we're going to be following the main line. because westbound we will follow business. Here's our next mileage sign. Henderson 5, Norlina? Norlina? Whatever, but at sign 21. Honestly, you can add Roanoke Rapids now. Here we're about to go back under Interstate 85. However, we do not have an interchange this time, which makes sense because if you were going to get on Interstate 85 from US 158, you would have gotten off where there was an interchange. Here we are merging into northbound Interstate 85. However, we don't have a way to go the other way from going this way, which is fine because you would have taken that other interchange to make that movement. Here US 158 East is split off and it is signed for nothing. Why are we signed for nothing? I don't know. Here we are meeting US Highway 1, which is next after US 158. However, we do not. However, this is going south and we do not have any controlled cities. Guys, I thought we didn't have any controlled cities. Turns out we actually do. Northbound is actually signed for Petersburg, while we're signed for Warrenton? Huh? I thought US 158 was only in North Carolina. I think it was in Virginia. Guys, I'm kidding. I know there's a Warrenton, North Carolina. That's where my uncle almost went. Bro, what the heck? I didn't know US 1 and US 158 were concurrent. My bad. Here's our next mileage sign. Norlina 12, South Hill 24. I think Norlina is for both of them. Might just be for 158, I don't know. But I know South Hill is for US 1 because that is in Virginia. Oh, Norlina is for both of them. Alright, anyways, here in Norlina, we're meeting US 401 and US 158 is going to split onto US 401. And US 1 is going to continue with US 401 north into Virginia with Interstate 85. Here, US 401 is swinging onto US 158 business because I think US 158 mainline follows bypass, so that's what we'll be following. Going westbound, we'll be following business. Here is where mainline US 158 goes back onto its old alignment, and we're going to be going that way too. Here's our next mileage sign. Macon 1, Littleton 11, Lake Gaston 13. Okay, why is Lake Gaston on its own sign? Shouldn't it be on the sign with the others? Also, Macon. I thought we were in North Carolina, not Georgia. Here is one of the most stretches of US 158 in North Carolina as we are approaching Roanoke Rapids. Here we are meeting Interstate 95 and it is signed for Emporia, Richmond, and Rocky Mount. Okay, that should be Richmond, Washington, and that should be Rocky Mount, Fayetteville. Because, come on, we all know that's where they're going. Or if you want, you can sign Raleigh because you meet US 64 in Rocky Mount and that'll take you to Raleigh. But if you're going east on 158, why would you come this way to go to Rocky? Why would you go east on 158, then south on 95, then back west on 64 just to go to Raleigh? That makes no sense. So maybe we'll keep it as Rocky Mount, Fayetteville for now until we can figure this out. And Richmond, Washington. Here we are on a pair of two one-way streets known as 2nd and 3rd Streets. Here we are meeting US 301 and we're signed from Murfreesboro and Chowan University, which is actually pretty awesome. Here, US 301 and US 158 are splitting off from each other, and why do they use shields like this? This makes no sense. This is how the reassurance shields should look. I'm sorry, reassurance shields. This is how they should look. Here we're meeting North Carolina State Highway 305 in Jackson, North Carolina. Yeah, notice I stole that line from Bruno Mars, even though the original is Jackson, Mississippi. And that came from the song Uptown Funk. So, yeah, if you haven't heard that song, I suggest you listen to it. It's a pretty good song. I reckon you'll like it. Here we're meeting Highway 35 in Conway, North Carolina. Wow, North Carolina, you sure do like to copy city names from other states. And I know it's not just you guys either. So, yikes. Okay. Here we are meeting US 258 for Murfreesboro and Woodland. Honestly, that should be Murfreesboro and Tarboro. And for Chowan University, and Murfreesboro is actually for US 158 business. So, yeah. Here, US 258 is splitting off, and we're meeting North Carolina Highway 11, and US 258 is signed for Murfreesboro, which should be Franklin, and North Carolina State Highway 11 is signed for a Hosky, which honestly you can actually co-sign a Hosky with Greenville, even though that is also kind of far, but would be cool to see Greenville signed from here. Here we are meeting US 13 and North Carolina State Highway 45, which is signed for Winton and Suffolk and a Hosky. Okay, if you're gonna sign NC 11 for a Hosky, you're gonna have to sign US 13 for something else. Maybe Windsor. No, Williamston. Either. I mean, I could possibly argue for Windsor because of the meaning with US 17, but Williamston is the better choice. Here's a small piece of the US 13 US 158 concurrency. And now from this point on, we are now on a part of US 158 that I have been on myself. Here's our next mileage sign, Suffolk 32 and Elizabeth City 48. And while Suffolk's colored in green, Elizabeth City's covered in brown. Well, I mean, Elizabeth City is a historic place on US 158. Also, Suffolk is for 13, Elizabeth City is for 158, if you don't know. Here we are crossing the Chowan River over this bridge, which looks like the US 17 bridge, except it's not a center wall, it's two separate bridges. That's actually one. Here we are entering into Gates County. Okay, and see that? What did I say about these archives? Here, US 158 is splitting off from US 13, and while US 13 is signed for Suffolk, we're signed for Elizabeth City. Here's our next mileage sign, Elizabeth City 42. Nags at 98? What? Okay. Man, if only there was a mileage sign 2 miles sooner, then that would have been the full 100 miles from Nag's Head. Like, what the heck is that? I am actually surprised that you're signing Nag's Head from here. Good job. Here we're meeting North Carolina State Highway 37, and after I do US 730, this is going to be the first official state highway that I do to really, that the series is done. But 730 ain't coming for like maybe 10 years. 10, maybe 15 years. Here in Sunbury, North Carolina, we're meeting North Carolina State Highway 32, which I will cover alongside Virginia State Highway 32 once the time comes. Here's our next mileage sign. I almost went right past this. Elizabeth City 27, Nags Head 83. Here we're meeting our good friend US 17. And I still don't know why the 158 shield looks like that. Here's our next mileage sign. We saw this in 17 southbound. Elizabeth City 12, Nags Head 68, Williamston 73. Which honestly should have been signs on 13 when we were meeting it back in Winton. Here, US 17 and US 158 are going to be getting onto onto another alignment, and and then we got the bypass alignment, which we followed in southbound. We get South 17, East 158 for Elizabeth City because we're not quite downtown yet, and we get bypass 17 for Hartford and Eatonton, which again, like I said in 17, they should be Williamston, Newburgh. Like, come on, NCDOT. What is happening here? Here we're going over 17 bypass, and hey, it actually does look to be interstate standards. Here's our next mileage sign. Elizabeth City 5, Williamston 66. Wow, okay, NCDOT. So if you can sign Williamston on Mainline 17, why can't you sign it on the bypass? Here we're meeting with US 17 business again. We saw this in the 17 video, and what the? We saw. Why is there a truck business route? This is crazy. Alright, let's go. I had to go back a little bit because I missed this sign that says Hertford Outer Banks. Hertford is for 17, Outer Banks is for 158. It's actually faster to take 17 business out the 158 to get to the Outer Banks, so that should be signed for Outer Banks. Instead of taking the 17 158 concurrency all the way out and then get on Elizabeth Street. Like, come on. That makes no sense. Also, Hertford should be Williamston or Newburgh. Here, US 158 and truck business 17 is splitting off from 17 mainline, and I told you, but again, 17 mainline should be signed for Williamston or Newburgh. But going the other way, 17 northbound is signed for South Mills. That should straight up be Chesapeake or Norfolk. US 158 is now signed for Camden and Outer Banks, as well as the waterfront. You don't need the waterfront. Are you sure, Sam? Don't need Camden. Take Camden off the side. Come on, NCDOT. What is wrong with you? I'm about to lose all my brain cells from this. Here we're meeting back with US 17 business, and this is actually the other end of truck business 17. So truck business 17 doesn't need to exist. Here we're crossing the Pasquotank River on a bascule bridge, and this is the part of the bridge that actually lifts up. Once this lifts up, traffic is all the way backed up. Here's our next mileage sign. Sligo 14, Nags Head 55, Manio 65. Okay, not bad. Here we are meeting North Carolina State Highway 343, and it is signed for Camden Courthouse, South Mills, and Shiloh. See that? This is where South Mills belongs, on a state highway, not no US highway like 17. Here's our next mileage sign. Sligo 11, Manio 62. What happened to Nags Head, NCDOT? You just signed for it. What happened to it? Here we are meeting State Highway 34, and man, this intersection used to be completely different. Here, by going back to 2009 Street View, we can see exactly that. It looked completely different from how it does now. Here we're meeting North Carolina State Highway 168, or the southern terminus of it, and it is signed north of Norfolk, while we're signed for Kitty Hawk and Nags Head. Pretty good. Here is our next mileage sign: Kitty Hawk 32, Kildare Hills 35, Nags Head 42. Nice. Here near Coin Drop, North Carolina, on the Carroll Highway, we are crossing over the Intercoastal Waterway across this bridge. Honestly, if it was built like the 1764 bridges, and it would be cool. Here we're meeting North Carolina State Highway 136, and as you can see, we're south from Nags Head and Elizabeth City on 158 for both directions. Nags Head for east, Elizabeth City for west. Here's our next mileage sign, and instead of Kitty Hawk, we get Southern Shores at 20, then we get Kildare Hills at 27, and Nags Head at 32. Wow! Here we cross the Currituck Sound over the Wright Brothers Memorial Bridge, which I'm actually shocked this bridge is still standing. Now guys, the westbound bridge is the new widened bridge. The eastbound is the original 2-lane bridge. However, it's not 2 lanes anymore. It is 4. Here we're meeting North Carolina Highway 12, and it is signed for Southern Shores, Duck, Corolla, and beaches. Not a certain type of beach, or a specific beach, just North Carolina beaches. Then we get 158 East, Kitty Hawk, Kildare Hills, and Nags Head. And also 158 East, Manio, Cape Hatteras, and National Seashore. Okay, honestly, 158 should just be signed south at this point, because after this curve, we're going south at this point. Here we're meeting NC 12 again, and it's signed for Cape Hatteras, National Seashore, Nags Head Beaches, Hatteras Island, and Ocracoke Island, while US 158 is terminating at US 64 for Roanoke Island, 2 US 264, Manio, and Winchester, which I hope I pronounced that right. I live on the coast, so I should know, but we're going to end here. See you guys in westbound.